It's one thing having strategies on paper. It's another thing having those strategies implemented to realize the full benefits of those strategies. This government has said many things. They have promised to do many things relative to structural reforms, relative to rationalizing government expenditure, which have all turned out to be pipe dreams. In two consistent budget statements, we're told about how they were going to freeze the purchase of new vehicles and so on, how they were going to cut down significantly on government expenditure. When the outcomes were released to Parliament, we saw that, contrary to what they promised, government expenditure had rather gone up through the roofs. So it is one thing promising to do something. It is another thing realizing that promise, because actions and words are always not the same, particularly for this dishonest, this wasteful and reckless Akufo-Addo Bawumia government. So, Dr. Koboy, I think you have to be candid and honest on platforms like this, particularly when you are talking about the sufferings of the good people of this country. Look at what they are telling us about 2022. The World Bank is telling us that as a result of the mismanagement of the Ghanaian economy by Alhaji Bawumia, the chairman of the economic management team, and the entire NPP government, which saw an astronomical rise in the rate of inflation from 14% as of January 2022 to 54% as at the time we're closing 2022, over 850 Ghanaians were pushed into poverty. Why? Because of bad leadership. Because of the recklessness of this government. Their bad choices. Their misplaced priorities. The misuse of public funds. Instead of investing in the productive sectors of the economy to create jobs and wealth for all Ghanaians, they chose to borrow for consumption. They chose to spend borrowed funds on useless endeavors. And so because of that, as a result of hyperinflation alone, 850 Ghanaians, 850,000 Ghanaians, okay boy, 850 Ghanaians, 50,000 Ghanaians. Do you know 850,000? You're talking about maybe 15 times the size of the Accra Sports Stadium. Filled to capacity. These are Ghanaians who were not poor per the definition of poverty by the World Bank, who have now been pushed into poverty. Primarily because of the astronomical rise in food inflation we recorded last year. And the report details that. Talks about food, the high cost of both food and non-food commodities. Look, as we speak, do you know that this trend of hyperinflation is not getting any better? Even according to the report. Because whereas we recorded some relative reduction in the rate of inflation, the trend in the last 2-3 months shows clearly that we are heading back into hyperinflation levels. From a rate of inflation of around 41% in March, we moved to 42.2 in April. Now we are at 42.2% in May, 42.5% in June. And the indications are that we are going higher and higher. You understand? As I speak to you, a bag of cement in Accra is selling at about 90 Ghana cedis, just a bag of 50 kg of cement. And this is the same bag of cement which used to sell at about 27 Ghana cedis in 2016, that you called President Mahama names for. You insulted an innocent man, berated him, said he was insensitive, he was wicked, he was cruel, he was incompetent. Today, under you, the so-called competent people, we can't buy cement. I know many friends who are building, but who have had to abandon their building projects because they cannot afford cement. which is today selling at about 90 Ghana cedis. In Accra, what that means is that in other regions it is selling at a far higher price because of transportation and other things. Today, a gallon of petrol, which used to sell at about 14 Ghana cedis in 2016 December, is today selling at 50 Ghana cedis. Even common water, sachet water, which we used to buy in 2016 at 1 cedi 50 pesos. Sachet water today is going for a whopping 10 Ghana cedis at the back of common sachet water. So when you come and sit on platforms like this, the least you can do to show Ghanaians that you care. Okay? Not that today you find yourself in your plush office as CEO of National Health Insurance Scheme. So you have forgotten how you and I used to struggle. When even though your party was in power, you were communicating for your party as a government spokesperson all the time. But we used to know, how you and of course, you and I, we know how we used to struggle. So don't think that things are all rosy, things are getting better. Things are not getting better. Things are getting worse. And that is why a bag of maize, which used to sell in 2016 December when President Mahama was leaving office at 170 Ghana cedis, today is selling at a whopping 900 Ghana cedis, just a bag of maize. What is even more scary, and I'm talking about these prices within the context of this World Bank report, because it shows us the importance of inflation, the relevance of inflation, to the purchasing power of the Ghanaian, which is the key determinant of whether somebody will be pushed into the poverty bracket or not, which is what this report is about. You check rice, which is a staple in Ghana today. Everybody eats rice. Doc, Gino rice, 5 kg in 2016 was selling at 25 Ghana cedis. The 5 kg bag of Gino rice. Do you know how much Gino rice is selling today? The same 5 kg. From 25 cedis old, today it is selling at 185 Ghana cedis. 185. Anybody watching can go and check. 185 Ghana cedis in Accra. Lele rice. We used to buy lele rice in 2016 December at 18 Ghana cedis per 5 kg bag. Today, lele rice is sold on the market. The same 5 kg bag of lele rice is sold on the market for 170 Ghana cedis. Check the percentage increment. We are not saying that prices should be static. We are not saying that prices should be on the decline. Prices obviously will go up once there is inflation. But look at the quantum leap in these prices of basic commodities that the ordinary Ghanaian, including the jobless young people watching me this morning, are having to bear with. Cindy rice, common Cindy rice, 10 Ghana cedis per bag. That's per the 5 kg bag. Today it is 141 Ghana cedis. From 10 to 141. That is about 1,400% increase. Royal Aroma, 5 kg from 7 Ghana cedis, now 135. What have we done wrong to this Akufo-Addo Bawumia government? Today, even our females are struggling to they are struggling to cope with the high cost of common sanitary pads, which is a basic necessity for any female adolescent. Proper sanitary pad used to be sold at 2 cedis 50 pesos. Today, you need 20 Ghana cedis to buy proper sanitary pad. Yas sanitary pad, the same 2 cedis 50 pesos. Today, you have to get 20 Ghana cedis to buy Yas sanitary pad. Always Ultra, from 4 Ghana cedis in 2016, today, you need 25 Ghana cedis to buy. Even the common gari, the gari that the boys who go to secondary school will buy and use for gashets, use for soakings. The ones that the boys will buy and put on their beans for gobe, my favorite, in my uni days, because we came from very humble beginnings. Common gari, and a local of gari has moved from 5 Ghana cedis as of December 2016 to 25 Ghana cedis. This is the true state of the economy for the ordinary Ghanaian. Not those of you who get fuel for free, you have stewards and workers who are paid by the state, you receive huge allowances, huge salaries, and so you are now living in your own bubble, far removed from the realities of the ordinary Ghanaian. You come and sit on TV, cracking jokes, speaking Ga, laughing that all things are getting better because the World Bank said. Oh,
that's his language.
That's his language, though. Yes. But the way he speaks it, he's always having fun with it.
It's because you don't understand what he says.
Well, that is how it comes across.
Okay.
You understand? So, Doc, we are in dire straits. We are in difficult times. And the least expected of our leaders, number one, is candor. Number one, humility, to accept that all is not well. Now, if, Doc, we were even seeing government do the kind of things that have been recommended by the World Bank, and that they themselves have set out to do per the IMF program we are currently implementing, then we can have some hope that things are likely to improve. Okay? In any case, even if you look at the World Bank program, look, even after that 3-year program, you know that our debt levels will not have reached sustainable levels. We will not have reached a debt to GDP of less than 70% by the end of that program. So clearly that program is not a panacea to the catastrophic economic conditions we have on our hands and the economic bankruptcy that especially Alhaji Bawumia and his economic management team, through their recklessness, have plunged this country into. We are not seeing any improvements in interest rates. As I speak to you, interest rates are still hovering around 36 to 40%. I checked only yesterday. We are not seeing any significant improvements in the exchange rate. As we speak, you need almost 12 Ghana cedis to get a dollar. Doc, I lie? You need almost 12 Ghana cedis to get a dollar. You understand? We are not seeing any significant improvement in the debt position. As we speak, government is defaulting on more of its debt obligations. Here I'm talking about Cocoa Board. Now it is official. I was watching Good Morning Ghana a few days ago when you were discussing that topic, that the cocoa bills they issued, today they've made it official that they can no longer service that and are calling for the holders of those bills to come for restructuring. Now even dollar-denominated bonds are being restructured. They are excruciating, draconian debt restructuring program is being continued. It's going on unabated. Even the promises they made to individual bondholders, they said, oh, this debt restructuring is voluntary. It is not compulsory. You can opt out. And we will respect the existing agreements we have with you and service our obligations when they fall due. Today you are reneging on that. Sometimes for months, you don't pay due coupon rates. And people who depend on these monies for their medical treatment, they depend it for their feeding. They depend on it to pay school fees. They are losing all that. You understand? So things are not getting better. And we are also not seeing government investing wisely, spending wisely, cutting down on waste, cutting down on the profligacy. We are not seeing that. And so if you tell me this morning, like Dr. Kuboy will have us believe that, oh, things are going to get better, I see that to be an insult. Because why? That useless so-called National Cathedral project, which is of no benefit whatsoever to the suffering masses of this country, that you have wasted over $58 million on, which is over 500 million new Ghana cedis, which is equivalent to over 5 trillion old Ghana cedis on. You still intend to spend on that. This year alone, they intend to spend about 83 million cedis on that useless project. When after spending over 500 million cedis on it, all you have to show for is the biggest pit in the world. For which reason, even the men of God you deceived to join the project today are resigning. Venerable leader of the Lighthouse Ministry, Bishop Dagiward Mills, has resigned. Pastor Isuda Naba, the revered Archbishop Duncan Williams. They've all seen how this project stinks with corruption, how people are stealing in the name of God and violating the laws of this country in the name of God, under the guise of building a house for God. You people, you don't fear anything. You've stolen money and now you are even doing it in the name of God. Breaching public procurement laws, breaching the Public Financial Management Act, throwing taxpayers' money away just like that. You are still spending on National Cathedral. You've not halted it. So how do you want the people watching you this morning to have faith in you that you are going to do anything different to bring about a respite, to bring about some positive change?